we have the timer set.
Let's go.
Timer is very important, Randy.
Yes.
So
All must obey the timer.
the camera has only a certain amount of time before blacks out.
Oh, all right.
Because we're doing this at such...
Randy's like, I didn't know I had so much in common with a camera.
Well, Randy, welcome on in to the Big Access Podcast.
You bet. Thanks.
You've been on here before, but it's been a minute. In fact, we were downstairs on the first floor last time that you were on the Big Access Podcast, and so we've things have changed a little bit.
They have.
We have our own studio. We don't share a lab with engineering for a studio, so. We've got better microphones now. It's
beautiful.
Very nice.
It's a lot of fun.
It's really well done.
Well, thank you. You were having a little Titanic moment there.
Yep. We're having a good time. You can pretty much tell when it's like end of day podcast or morning podcast for me.
Yeah.
You got your second or third caffeine.
See, I'm definitely that in the morning.
Yeah.
And then now I've got to go run over and grab like a Mountain Dew or something. I can't do another one.
The pre-workout in the gym get me hyped in the morning. So I'm like, woo. And then lunch, and then come back from lunch, and just especially on Mondays, these meetings that we're in.
Dude, Mondays for us is just straight meetings all day.
Love PDK, and we got to have them, but man.
Yeah. It's good. Yep. I mean, it helps us get things rolling. But yeah, you're right. This is an end of the day podcast.
Yep.
Let's hope we can keep some energy up.
Randy looks like
Randy's here. Yeah. Randy's ready. He's got his 15 minutes of energy ready to go before he pulls up on the couch and takes a nap. So
I appreciate the opportunity, and when I get famous, I'll remember where I got my
This is your
starting role.
Just make sure you remember us, and then we're all good.
Yeah. Yep.
That's awesome. Well, Randy here is with Turing, and he's going to be here talking with us all about video and why video is important. So video is actually our most common integration that we have out there.
Yes.
And we integrate with a lot of different platforms, but Turing is a fantastic one that we integrate with. So we're going to talk a little bit about A, why video is important, B, who Turing is, and then C, how they integrate with BDK. So first and foremost, Randy, why is video a thing?
Well, it's just another layer of security. You've got a door, you've got a lock, then you've got access control to control that. But having visual records of, who comes in and out of those doors, if you need to prove that somebody is borrowing somebody else's credentials, things like that, having that video to go back on is crucial.
Yeah. So
having descriptions of people, your metadata from an access control can only get you so far if you don't have some video to back that up.
Right. So you guys have your cameras put in all sorts of different environments, right?
Yes.
So what are some of the most common environments where you might have a video camera installed?
Well, since we came on board with you guys as an integration partner, really anywhere you would put access control. We see a lot of cameras going in on gates, obviously elevators, lobby doors, just about any kind of environment is a great place for cameras. Parking lots, offices, storage facilities, healthcare, educational. I mean, you just go down the whole list. If it's a building, it should probably have some sort of video.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, ultimately, a building should have access control with it as well, right?
Agreed.
There should be a whole gambit of a bunch of different security products that ultimately work together installed on a building. And so a lot of dealers and a lot of integrators, they go ahead and start with having the cameras and the access control working together, and then go ahead and add in different things like monitoring sensors, maybe visitor management systems, intercoms, all those different sorts of things, right?
Access and video, and I hear this from a lot of dealers and in a lot of magazines, that's core security.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's becoming more core security, as kind of older systems, like alarm systems are kind of moving away just because there's so many notification options on your system, on our system, that can proactively, notify the owner, can notify the authorities. There's so many options out there now. My question to you, can I ask him a question?
Yeah, you know what? I'll let you.
Brock, I don't ask a lot of questions on this. I usually make a lot of statements, but what are you guys seeing as far, when you can't think of cloud cameras without thinking of Turing? what are you seeing in the market today? Like who's moving towards cloud? Who are the people adopting it, and where are you going?
Really just about anybody. That's just kind of the world that we live in now. Everybody wants to be able to manage things from anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
Not having to roll a truck for service calls, things like that. And that's where cloud can come in. The old way was, back in my day, this is kind of dating myself, but I used to roll around town in a van full of VCRs and cassettes. We worked on a lot of quick serve restaurants and convenience stores and things like that, and it was just a nightmare. For the end user as well, having to pay somebody like me to come out there to replace a cassette tape or a VCR or things like that. So then we came on board with the digital world, where now at least we have hard drives. We're storing a lot more, a little bit less hands-on. But even that has its limitations. If you need to change a setting, anything that simple as, even just changing the time zone or something of a camera, you'd have to roll a technician out there to do that. So with cloud, it's just opened the door to, almost maintenance free for the end user.
Man,
Beautiful.
That's so cool.
Storage has kind of always been the roadblock.
Storage has been a roadblock. Bandwidth, when cloud stuff started happening, that became a little bit of a roadblock. But now, with the compression that we can do with video, we're getting past a lot of that. So we can do, complete cloud storage. We typically do a hybrid system where it's on-site storage and then events are stored in the cloud, so that we're keeping that cloud cost a little bit to a minimum.
Beautiful.
Yep.
So I think that's a perfect segue into talking a little bit more about who Turing is. You mentioned the Turing is a camera manufacturer, a cloud-based camera manufacturer, so it's a little bit different than some of the other manufacturers out there. So, but elaborate a little bit more on who you guys are and kind of what makes you guys so special.
So we are a U.S.-based NDAA-compliant provider of video surveillance hardware, software, and cloud VMS, video management systems, as well as analytics. So we take our cameras, put them on site. You have your local recording, very similar with the installation process as people are used to. But then we connect that to the cloud. So everything is managed through our cloud video management software. Simply log into a website. You've got access to your entire system.
Yeah.
So we provide cameras, NVRs. We've got some unique products, our Edge cameras, which are direct to cloud, which I find pretty common in PDK installations, because it might just be a door here, a door there, and not having to put a whole server system on site. We just simply connect a camera to a PoE switch and attach it to our cloud.
That's so cool.
And then that's viewing your doors, tagging all your door events with video.
That's so cool. We did an end cap with one of our distributors just recently.
Yes, we did.
Had we teamed up there, and as a result of that, we had a bunch of PDK installs and Turing installs installed together and integrated. So we were really excited to see that, because, well, it creates that great partnership where two great manufacturers work together. In fact, we've got a case study that's going to be dropping here very soon that illustrates how that works really well together. I'm excited about that. Shout out to Marshall at MK. But then we've also got, it's a cool way to be able to see how our systems works together, where you can go ahead and you can make it where, hey, I want to go and search when John Doe scanned that badge.
Correct.
And it will pull up that specific user, right? One of the cool things that you guys can do is you can go ahead and say, hey, show me when the guy in the blue hat scans, right?
Awesome.
That's really cool technology.
Mask verification was huge. When our partnership started off, that's what a huge request. Do you have anything that can verify people are wearing masks? Yeah, we do. It's Turing.
Clothing color, short sleeve, long sleeve,
hard hats,
and face recognition or face comparison, whatever you choose to call it. So that's very handy. You guys have probably met Mike Hendricks, our director of sales engineering. I love doing demos when he's showing off the PDK stuff. He would come into our office and scan his card, and then he would always make a face at the camera, and it was always a little different face, and it's pretty entertaining. But showing that integration, I could just search for access allowed, and it would pull up a list of all the people that have recently scanned that door. And then I click on it, and I can see, was it really Michael Hendricks, or was it somebody else?
Yeah. I can confirm that it is Michael Hendricks.
Yes.
At ISC, he was upset because he thought that I mistook him for Scott.
Oh.
And I was like, Michael, I know who you are, and I want to verify that on this podcast. I know who Mike. I can pick him out of a lineup.
These are now facts.
Yeah, it's solidified in the alums of ProdataKey.
There you go.
So yeah, I think it's a great verification of any of your access events.
So
Agreed.
yeah, I always hear that cameras is reactive security, access control is proactive security, but together they really make the full gamut of security there. Really takes everything to the next level, where you can have that proactive security, that reactive security, and you can have that verification of if there ever is anything that goes wrong, you can be able to identify exactly when it happened, who did it, and if it actually was who they said it was.
And you can catch it in real time if that person is tagged in our system as a bad guy or a flagged person, or Dallan is not allowed on this site between hours of 6 p.m. and 6 a.m.
There's a number of those sites.
We can create an alert.
Several.
And send a text message or an email or a push notification instantly when you show up during those hours you're not allowed.
That is so cool.
So now it becomes proactive, or at least instantaneous.
Instantaneous, right? In that moment, you get that exact notification to be able to react.
Yeah. Right.
That helps to get rid of that. You mentioned earlier that alarm systems are kind of on the way out, right?
I mean, the data shows that.
The data shows it.
Alarm companies will tell you otherwise, but
Well, okay, hold on. I'm not going to mention any names, but I talked with a number of them at ISC who, even these central monitoring stations, like, alarm's dying.
Yeah.
So being able to have these type of notifications together, that helps combat that whole situation. And think about what that would even do for central stations, right? Being able to have the central station be able to get that instant notification immediately to be able to send
photo
first responders out there, right?
Yeah.
Right?
That's huge, because false alarms have been a problem for the past 40 years.
I know.
Yeah. Police, that's their biggest problems. They're like, wasted time.
A lot of jurisdictions will not respond to an alarm without video verification.
Yeah. Verifying
So that's
life.
becoming more and more common as well. So, having that access control and that video to verify that, this door really is closed, it did open, and here's the video to prove that somebody came through it.
Yeah.
Having that in real time. And we're working with a lot of monitoring stations and virtual guards and things like that to accomplish that as well. So,
isn't technology cool?
Yeah. It's very
especially
cool.
when it's used, in good ways, right? You have technology used in so many different ways that is questionable, but we are literally here using technology and advanced features to help protect life and property every day.
Love that you just said that, because that's what I was thinking. I'm like, dude, Netflix is out there entertaining people, which is great.
It's great. I'm watching Prison Break right now.
I love Netflix, but what we do, we're trying to make it easier and more secure to protect life and property. When I wake up in the morning, I feel really good about my career and what I'm doing here. I love that.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's a very fast evolving industry.
Jeez, man.
And I think the cloud has opened that up. You guys can attest to this. I think I've heard you say it, Dallan. When you're showing the cloud platform, this is the worst it's going to be.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty about it, is it's not so dependent on the hardware now.
Yeah.
We can add features and improve the end user experience just through the cloud software without having to go and change out any hardware, which in the past that was the only way you could upgrade.
Exactly. Think how this is going to be now for, like, customers are used to buying something and having it depreciate.
Right?
We're in the security industry creating products that people buy, and it gets better. It appreciates over time. That is an experience that is going to be hard to duplicate with from everyone. You know what I mean?
100%.
So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to tell someone that, hey, this time next year, you're going to be able to do more. It's going to be easier. You're going to be able to protect life and property more simply.
Well, how many customers have we been able to, you close a deal on it because they know that something's in the works, and suddenly that feature is readily available for them, and they are super ecstatic and ready to, see what's next.
Yeah.
We've dropped a number of really cool releases that people and partners have been asking for, right?
Yeah.
our extended management, our system continuity,
the system and health. I continually, especially from our dealers, we focus a lot on our dealers and allow our dealers to focus on their customers. Obviously, we're mutual, but we want the dealer to own that, and we hear from them. Being able to just go in and at a glance see if there's any issues, and a lot of times be ahead of the game is huge for our dealers, right?
Yeah. Another really cool thing that I think is a really sweet advancement as well is our integrations tab. So in PDK.io, you can go right to the system settings, and in there you'll be able to see integrations. And on that integrations tab, you can click on that, and you will see all the different integrations that integrate with PDK. And from there, you can go ahead and enable an integration right then and there.
Is Turing in there?
I think so. They are. So you can go in and you can say, okay, these are the different integrations that I represent and I sell as a dealer. So I want to make these visible to my end user customer. So if your end users ever diving through there, they can then go in there and say, oh, integrations. Oh, what's this Turing? Oh, cool. Cameras. My PDK system will work with my cameras. And then from there, the integrator can go ahead and start making that integration work. They enable it. And then from there, they log in to Turing directly, in PDK.io. That's kind of a cool thing. And then they can start linking doors and cameras and creating those events all from the PDK.io software. It is so cool.
And if you don't want your customers finding out about all the integrations PDK has, you can go in and just disable it.
You can.
Right? If you're installing a Turing system and you don't want to see any competitors in there, you can do that.
Yep. You only show the ones that you want your customer to be able to do.
Very cool. Yeah, and to kind of piggyback on that, just how easy it is for the integration, at least from the Turing side. It's simply put in the cloud node of the PDK, and on your end, you put in an email address as an integrator role to Turing, and your integration's done. It's not like the old days where I had to run some sort of cable between the two panels and do a bunch of programming. You could do it from your couch.
That's the benefits of the cloud, right?
Yep.
When I saw Michael Hendricks do it the first time, I'm like, okay. I remember remembering how he did it, and I was in my office, and it still took like 20 seconds. It really is that easy, and that's what's been missing from security, in my opinion, is if you want something that is truly secure, it's hard to use, and if you want something that's simple to use, it's going to be not unsecure.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. That's what we're figuring out here, is that it's just we're merging ease of use and security, and it's fun to be a part of it. I think that's what's leading to our mutual growth.
I would agree.
Yeah.
100%.
Cool. Well, what's new with Turing, or what's the latest with Turing?
So we've released a few more camera models. We're always improving our software. We've added some new features, such as time lapse, which is a cool feature. If we're looking at like our outdoor solutions, our sky shields and solar shields, we might be looking at a construction site, and at the end of that project, I can just click a couple buttons in our software and download a time lapse of that project.
Sky Shield won an award, didn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. That was one of our large distributors. Gave us the product of the year last year.
Beautiful.
That was really cool.
So we're seeing a lot of those actually deployed out at HOAs and things like that. With a PDK system on the gate. So it's a very simple cellular connected piece of equipment that does everything that our Turing platform has to offer.
So cool, man.
Very cool.
So cool. Yeah, you guys definitely have a solution that helps get you guys in any type of environment. Just kind of like we have the solution to be able to get access control in any type of environment. So Turing and PDK, we really do work well together.
Yes. Yep.
Agreed. Like what's hot right now? Let's do this. Like, if there's a dealer watching that currently doesn't do cloud cameras, what should he be looking for? What's the best implementation? My personal, and I'm a little biased, but our edge cameras. I mean, it's so simple. I'll have some customers that are otherwise challenged in installation processes, and they'll call us up and say, "Hey, did I miss something? Yeah.
This was too easy. It was 3 clicks. I put in a MAC address, and all my cameras came online." And when you hear that feedback from the customers that it was too easy, so I'm calling tech support to make sure I didn't miss something.
We get those calls.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's amazing, right?
Yep.
It's so good. That's when you know you're doing it right.
Yep.
Because again, this industry has been, for the longest time, it's just made it so much harder than it actually needs to be. And so people who are used to having difficult installs or installs that take time, and they're suddenly out there and it's working.
Yep.
In no time, suddenly they're like, man, I overbilled this customer.
Yeah.
I like the calls too when you get a new feature rolled out and, hey, this how come I have this? I didn't have this yesterday.
Yeah.
It's just a new feature. You know, we rolled it out on Friday night. You were sleeping and wake up Monday morning and you got some cool new features. So
again, today is the worst your system will ever be.
Yep. I like that.
It's the funnest thing to tell somebody as a salesperson because, you know, usually you're like, and then when your car breaks down 5-6 years down the road, I can sell you a new one. With us, it's like, you're going to have this for a long time.
Yep. Wouldn't that be great if you could invest in a car and 10 years later it got better than when you bought it?
It wouldn't be like the whole horrible situation I just had with my truck. Dude, my truck was at the dealership for 36 days.
Ooh.
Ugh.
Ooh. Yeah.
Must be a Ford.
It was wild.
It was actually.
Wow. Nailed it.
I drive an F-150.
I am.
But yeah, it was there for a while. Cam phasers, but
Yeah.
Yep.
Turing and PDK are better than Ford. You heard it here first.
Yep. Yeah. I had to think it through, but I do love Ford. I always have, but I sold their cars for a long time. So
You did.
All right.
You did.
Yeah.
Well, Randy, thanks a ton for taking the time to come on. How do people reach out and figure out more about Turing?
Turing.ai is our website. You can go to turing.ai/PDK, and that will have all the information on our PDK integration as well.
Yes.
Reach out to your PDK sales manager, your Turing sales manager. If you don't have those, go to our website. Contact information's there. We'd be happy to get you guys trained up on it, show you how it all works, and open up some new opportunities.
There we go. Great opportunities there. We love working with these guys. They're a fantastic partner. So yeah, reach out to us. Let us know, and that you're looking to do some jobs and integrate them together, and you're going to be all set, ready to roll. So
I think we've also got some pretty good YouTube videos on it. On our YouTube channel, probably your YouTube channel. I know you guys are big into the social media stuff.
Very much so.
And we love to see it. So, especially when your guys are wearing a Turing hat while doing it.
Hey,
it happens.
I've got one in my office.
It
now,
happens.
so
If our partners have good swag, it's hard to avoid it.
It is, dude. I've got a whole shelf next to my window that's just filled with partner swag.
Yeah.
I love it.
I love it too.
Yeah. Anyways, thank you so much for taking the time to tune into this episode. If you haven't already done so, be sure to subscribe to this podcast, give it a 5-star rating, and let us know if there's anything in particular you're looking to learn, and we'll be sure to add that into an upcoming episode. Thanks a ton, and we will see you next time on the Big Access Podcast.